Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. And in today's video we're going on a wild camping adventure with the Fujifilm GFX100RF. Now if you watched my last video, you will know that I'm currently trying out the Fujifilm GFX100RF to see how it fits into my own needs for a landscape photographer. Now for me, I am a professional photographer. I solely make my income from photography, and landscape photography does contribute to that income. So I find that a lot of my cameras have to be multi-purpose, have multi-uses, and as much as I love the GFX50R, it is quite a clunky, slow camera, which is absolutely perfect really for landscapes. I love it. But if I want to throw it into another environment, a sort of portrait shoot, for example, maybe a wedding, I just find it a bit slow and cumbersome. I'm not saying it doesn't do the job, because it does do the job and it does it beautifully, but I would like faster autofocus. I would like a smaller camera. I would just like it to be a bit more responsive. But I don't want to go to the expense of buying something like a GFX100, I think it's 100S, something like that, and then having loads of big lenses, because it's sort of, it just defeats the object of trying to have a smaller mirrorless camera system for me. So hence why we've come to this fork in the road where we try the GFX100RF to see if it can tick a few boxes. And as I say, my last video was the first impressions. Today is more of a proper test. We're on a fairly decent hike. I'm currently walking around Cow Green Reservoir in the North Pennines in Northern England. And we're heading to a location which has been described as England's Grand Canyon, which I do agree does sound a little bit far-fetched, but I do think it's going to be a great spot for an overnight camp, and hopefully a good place to give the 100RF a good tryout. If you look here, you'll actually see that the heather is starting to flower. That means give it 3 or 4 weeks and all of this was just going to be a riot of colour. It's going to be purple as far as the eye can see, which might be a really nice time to return here actually. Right, just to give you an idea of where we're actually going. If you look at the end of the reservoir there, we're going to head straight to the end of there. We're going to go around. There's actually a waterfall there, which we may photograph either tonight or in the morning. I've got a feeling maybe in the morning, because I think it'll be a little bit quieter. But we're going to head around the reservoir and we're going to go pretty much in that valley over there, which you may be able to make out. And that's actually the Pennine Way. Now, if you've watched this channel for a while, you probably have seen me walking stretches of the Pennine Way, because it's a ridiculously long route. And actually, thinking about it, the last time I did a wild camping video, that was actually towards the end of the Pennine Way. So now, whilst I wouldn't say this is the middle, because it isn't, we're probably roughly 2/3 of the way into the Pennine Way, with a third left to go maybe. But obviously we're walking in the opposite direction. We're walking down towards Derbyshire. But yeah, one day maybe, one day. But that's the route, and I'll catch up with you guys a little bit further along. Right, future me is going to jump in here at this point, because it has been a long walk in. I still haven't reached where I'm planning to pitch and my main subject for photography. So what I'm going to do is, in this video, I'm going to put a timestamp of where the actual photography begins, and I won't be offended if you want to have a look at that timestamp and go straight to that point, so you cut out the whole walking, because it is a big walking. But if you're interested in Northern England and just how barren and beautiful the North Pennines are, then I would recommend that you watch it. But if not, I'll catch up with you guys when the photography begins. So we're going that way. I think that must be the way. Obviously the Pennine Way continues that way. I'm not sure if that might be the best place to get a view of the waterfall. So I think we'll definitely leave that for tomorrow, because the last thing I want to be doing is racing today. I'd like to get to my location, get the tent, at least find a camp spot. I'm not that bothered about getting the tent up. I just want to know where I'm pitching the tent, and really get ready for if the lights breaks. Now the forecast is for all of this to be clearing up, so I'm hoping at some point later today I'll be able to ditch the hat, put the sunshades down, and actually get a little bit of light on my subject, because I do feel that it's not really going to work without some nice golden light, and that's the whole reason why I'm camping out overnight, because that's one thing I like about wild camping. It gives you two chances. I did consider doing this as a day walk, but if I did it as a day walk, that means that basically it would be sunset, and that would be it, you know, golden hour before sunset, then walk out. But by taking my tent, I can pitch my tent, have a stab at sunset, and if that doesn't work, then we still have sunrise, and if that doesn't work, we're scuppered. The Pennines is quite a desolate landscape. If you have a look at it, you know, okay, I'm on a sort of road and there is a farmhouse in the distance, but honestly, everywhere you look, there's really not much there, and you don't see many people. It's very different to walking in the Lake District, where the Lake District, you know, if I tripped over and broke my ankle in the Lake District, I'd probably be quite hopeful that somebody would walk past that track and perhaps find me, or I'd have phone signal and I could phone and get some help. Meanwhile here, if I was to slip and break something, I'm not really convinced I'd see anybody for a few days, and I don't have a phone signal. It is almost, for want of a better description, true wilderness, even though there are obvious signs of man's intervention. It's a very wild, barren landscape, and it must be tough for these guys here having to live up here, because it does get a fair dumping of snow compared to other places in the UK, because it is just, we're at a constant height. So whilst places like the lakes, you'll have higher mountains, you're dropping down into valleys. Here, everything's pretty constant, so you're high the whole lot. It's, you know, there's a reason why it's called the sort of almost the spine of England, isn't it? It runs straight up, and it's high, it's barren, it's quite grey, and I happen to love it. I really do. So as you can see, the red flag's flying at the moment. The red flag is up. And just in case you're wondering what the red flag is about, and this did confuse me a little bit, because this side actually, and there's the red flag, this isn't a military zone at all, but all over there, all that hill, and basically all the other side of the Beck stream running down, that's all a military zone. So they must be doing some sort of actual practice at the moment, and they do use live ammunition, so it's generally a good idea not to stray off the path when the red flag's flying. It really must be a bit strange for these guys who live pretty much literally in the middle of nowhere to have an army shooting themselves over the other side. But yeah, I think the sun's trying to make an appearance, so we may get lucky tonight. Right, you can see some more red flags flying. So if you want to go to Mickle Fell, you have to request access. And I'll tell you when you can go, when it's safe to pass. I think I may give that one a miss. Time to put the shades down, hats off. I'm about halfway along my route for tonight, I think. So working this principle, I should get to my location maybe about 7, half 7, which isn't going to give me that much time, but I think sunset's about 9:15, so definitely should have time to find some compositions before golden hour begins. And if we have a look around here, as you can see, the sun is definitely trying to make an appearance. And there's honestly nothing around for miles. Finally, we're off the gravel road, heading down a more basic track. The Pennine Way definitely becomes a little bit rougher now. I believe that was probably part of the Pennine Way bridleway there. We're just full on Pennine Way, all the way down. I'm a bit concerned about how squelchy it's suddenly become. Now it has been very, very dry this year, but it did rain a lot yesterday and the day before, and I believe it's supposed to rain more tomorrow. It's not supposed to rain tonight, so let's hope the weatherman has got that forecast right. The landscape's definitely changing. I think if you look there, I'm not sure if you can see, but that looks like that's the end of the army zone, so that's good news. That means anything forward here you should be able to camp at. I'm pretty convinced if you follow the watercourse around here that High Cup Nick is dropping down behind there, so it's all good. I'm hoping it will open up relatively soon. I'm also hoping that it dries up a bit. It's been a long walk in, I'm still not there. I used to do these kind of walks all the time using full frame gear. I used to carry a Canon 5D Mark 1 or Mark 2, generally with a 17 to 40mm lens and a 7200 zoom lens as well. So if you think about the weight I used to carry then to do this sort of stuff, the fact that now, whilst I've still got a big backpack, I've actually got a relatively small camera system on the top, which the weight's reduced so much, but I can shoot 100 megapixels. So I have loads of room for cropping. That's really quite game changing for this kind of photography. Well, that was a squelchy stretch of the Pennine Way, but in the distance we can now definitely make out the features of High Cup Nick and High Cup Seat below it, which, if the name rings a bell and you get a feeling of deja vu, if you've watched some of my previous videos, you may have watched the video where I was discussing whether you needed a tripod for landscape photography. and I came up here with my, I think it was my S5 Mark II. But I approached from the other side, so I approached from the south, from I think the town's called Dufton, and I came up that way. Midges are getting me, sorry. So I came from that direction, which was quite an easy walk in, but I didn't get as far as this end because hike up seat or hike up nick, I'm not sure when one ends and the one begins, but you know, it has been discussed as England's Grand Canyon, and by the very nature of that, you would expect it to run a little bit of a distance. So I came in from the southern end of it, and today we're coming in from the northern end. So it still means I would have missed out the bit in the middle. But the views were really nice from the other side, so I'm going to put a few of those photos up now, and I'll catch up with you guys at Hike Up Nick. This last stretch of the walk has been absolutely gorgeous. If I show you where I've come from, you see it's opened up nicely, and it's nice and dry here, so this is making me happy because it should be somewhere for me to camp, no problems at all. But guys, look at what we've got down there. That is just staggering, absolutely beautiful. I'm not really sure where I'm going to go to yet. There's a few options. I'm a bit worried about camping over that side because there's some cows on the side, and I don't really fancy a cow sitting on my tent in the night. But definitely I think maybe camping up here on the edge, looking down, that could be beautiful. Okay, they're not cows, they're horses. But guys, look at what we've got here. I am concerned that the horses may come over, so got a little waterfall going on there. We've got some serious crags happening here. Wow, that is gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. Well, I'm pleased to announce that at last, in this photography video, I'm going to take a photo. The lights, I like the light on the other side. I'm not convinced I'm going to get lights on the rocks I want to use in the foreground. So this shot may actually end up being a bit of a recce for the morning. So that's the size of my bag I'm carrying around, which obviously is amazing. There's been a few changes in the setup of the camera. I'll come a bit closer. So I have fitted a small rig, fake wood, it could be real wood, hand grip. Now, to be honest, I didn't like the grip before on the camera, and also I like to have a long arca plate, so that's the reason why. I've also taken the hood off and I've just fitted a magnetic system with a magnetic lens cap, just to speed things up a bit really. So I'm contemplating camping here, and the reason being, doesn't take much explaining, I don't think. This is just amazing. Now before, I came up from the village right down in the distance, and I came up here and I must have got to about there maybe. So I actually didn't come to any of this. It's just absolutely, it's one of those places that people don't believe can exist in England, if you know what I mean. It's just incredible. But now my job as a photographer is working out how I'm going to make a nice photo out of it. and I haven't got very long, and I'm wondering, I'm actually concerned that the lens may not be wide enough to do it justice. I'm being attacked by midges. I'm not sure if you can see them. I've got the midge net actually with me, which I've got a feeling I may be putting on very soon. Excuse the headwear. Midges are absolutely horrendous. So I've got my shots set up. I'm looking straight down the valley. I've got the stream running on the left hand side of the frame, and I've got the one half of the seat as such, like the bowl structure, on the right hand side with the peak in the right at the top. Basically all we need is a little bit of light to break it all up, and it's happening, and I think I will get something. The problem with midge nets is it's really hard to see what you're actually doing with your shot. Right, so ISO 80, f8, that should be absolutely fine. It is just a waiting game. I'm not sure if you can see me, to be honest. It's the least of my concerns at the moment because these midges are absolutely horrendous. Anyway, I moved from swinging around there. You can just about make it my bag over there. I moved from that point. I've come around here. I was hoping, to be honest, that if I got a little bit of height, it might be a bit more breeze, there might be a few less midges, but that hasn't happened. But also, what it's nicely done, it means I can get a bit more of the ridge down here in. I've gone for a X-Pan crop 65-24. I hope you can see that to get an idea what we're doing. And looking straight down, we've got the gill running straight through the middle. It's just looking straight down, high cup seat. It needs light, it does need light, and the light is happening slowly. I've put a polarizing filter on, which is doing a little bit with the sky, not much, but it's doing a bit. Every little bit helps. But I need some of these clouds to lift a little bit just to try and get some more light into the seat, into the bottom by the gill. And I'm not convinced that the sun's not too low for that to happen, but all I can do is sit here and carry on taking shots. Now, because I've gone for a panoramic crop, what that actually means is I've only got a sliver now, so in the distance where it is getting light, that's sort of filling the frame. So actually, I'm mildly confident this shot is going to come out all right. So on that note, I'm going to hang around, be eaten by midges, and when the light does play ball, take the shot, and here it is. Well, I've got a definite shot here. I'm a bit concerned about you guys falling over, to be honest, so I do apologise that you're miles away and you probably can't see much, but I think in this case the priority for me is the photography. Now what I'm doing, I'm utilising the crags at the front, which are absolutely gorgeous, aren't they? And on the left hand side of the frame, because ideally I want to be out there more, but obviously I can't be, so I'm going to have to increase my depth of field, so I'm going to go to f16, I think. I'm hoping that will be satisfactory. Looks lovely, but I think I'm too wide. So it's time to utilise the little zoom. I'm going to change my aspect ratio because I'm on 3:2, go to full 4:3, get a bit more sky in. Apologies I can't show you, but as I say, I just want to get this shot right. So I'm going to take it, put it on the screen, and whilst you guys are looking at the final shot, I'll put my tent up. That's it guys, tent up. Believe me, nobody wanted to watch me putting that tent up because it has been horrendous. These midges, I haven't known midges this bad outside of Kilda actually in England, and Kilda's bad. These have definitely, they've been Kilda level tonight. I go so far, they're possibly Scotland level, but no, if I went to Scotland, they'd be far worse. But anyway, the tent's up. I'm going to get that big bag chucked in, and I'm going to get myself in. I'm going to hide away from the locals who seem to be paying me just a little bit too much attention, which is a shame because the light's looking quite nice over that way. But in all fairity, the things I want to photograph are in that direction. Now, this tent's been positioned in such a way that I'm hoping if it does clear and we get some stars, that I could possibly take a shot of the tent with a nice clear sky behind. I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll see what happens. If it does, I'll probably use my torch, turn my torch on inside and sort of light paint inside the tent maybe. Not sure. I can't honestly think at the moment because these things are just driving me up the wall. So I'm going to jump in the tent. You may see me in a while when we do the shot outside of the tent, or it may be the morning. Either way, let's just hope some wind comes. Later guys. Well, good morning guys. I've had better night's sleep. It went really foggy last night, so I was hoping there might have been some mist still lying around this morning, but there isn't. The sun's just rising. I'm a little bit later than I would have hoped. I think I misjudged sunrise in relation to being in the being up in the hills, because I was expecting it to be just a touch later. But this is good because I don't exactly have far to walk to my subject, and I have the composition in mind. So this is, I can set up really quick. Last night was pretty horrible. The midges were a nightmare. Managed to get a right collection of midges sharing the tent with me, and whilst they did have a bit of a sleep, it really wasn't it wasn't pleasant. But at least there's a bit of wind now. But saying that, as soon as I said that, the wind dropped, which means our little friends will be back out. Yay! I've got my shot. I'm going to focus stack, and I'm going to first of all take a shot with my hand in the frame. First stack. Alright, first shot is the rocks right at the front. I'm ducking down to try and minimise my shadow in case you're wondering what this sort of weird dance is I'm doing. Second shot is the rocks there. And to be honest, the two will probably do it. But the third shot is right in the distance at an infinity. And then a final shot. Let's see what we've got. As you can see, my friends are out, so just what we need, eh? Oh guys, believe me, the only reason I'm taking this off is to talk to you. I think I'm done, unfortunately. The sun's coming up, the clouds are disappearing. The forecast hasn't done exactly what it was supposed to have done, which is a shame. It didn't clear. I think what's happened basically, it's running a little bit late as such. It didn't clear as quick as it should have done last night. And now it appears like it's going to be clear when it shouldn't have been by this point. So we've got rain coming in later, so I've got the tent virtually down. I'm ready to go, so I am going to end the video here. But finally, one of my thoughts on using this little camera on a wild camping trip. I was concerned that I would feel limited, to be honest, and I haven't. It's been okay. If anything, the only thing I wish I had a wider lens option, and that is a shame. But I don't have enough wider lens option on the 50R, so perhaps it's a moot point. I'll ridges are back. But I do think the fact that it will fit in a bag like that, and it's medium format, and I can get you in as well, and everything's nicely in there, that is actually quite incredible. And you know what? It doesn't feel like you're using a medium format camera. It feels like you're using an X100R, to be honest. Just feels exactly the same, apart from you've got your aspect ratios and you can crop in and out in the camera as opposed to doing it at home. I like it. It's not perfect. It's annoying me that the crop zoom defaults back to the standard full lens when you turn it off. I wish it would remember that, but yeah, I think it's good, and I think we've hopefully got one photo which will sort of demonstrate what we can do. Hopefully. This may be one I have to return to, but I'll tell you something, I'm not returning in July again. Anyway guys, on that note, I'm going to end that video here. So one last time, you're going to see my face. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And I'll see you soon for another one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, midges.